and very proud of that photo.
Pride is tinged with pain for Tommy Charlton, cherishing the memories of his family of footballing royalty as they mourn as a family.
I've never thought of Bob or Jack as anything but my brothers. And now that, since they died as my brothers, not as famous footballers. And that is difficult for me. It's difficult to separate the two. And it's heartwarming to see the number of people, thousands of people, telling me that they respected Bob.
The outpouring of affection for Sir Bobby Charlton is comforting for Tommy, speaking to Sky News 2 weeks after his brother's death at 86, and 3 years after losing Jack. World Cup winning brothers. That glorious day in 1966, remembered so fondly by Tommy, watched not from Wembley, but just like most of England.
Well, me being me, before the final, Bob managed to get me a ticket to go to the final. And I lived in Ashington, and Ashington's a long way from London. I'd never been to London. I'd very rarely been out of Ashington, if the truth was known. And I didn't have any money to get there. Nobody in the family had that sort of money. And I didn't want to ask Bob or Jack to help me because they had far too much on their plate at the time, and that was just not the thing that I was willing to do. So I watched the match at home on the TV. And, well, it was actually at my girlfriend of the time, it was at their house. But they knew nothing about football. And then, of course, the press and all the rest of it. But I regret that. Now I regret that. I should have actually made a bank loan or something to get there. But to me, it was just my brothers playing another game.
Just as it was growing up in their Northumberland mining town.
Bob was football from beginning to end. And he always had a tennis ball in his pocket. And we always played in the street. If we didn't have a better ball, we'd play with a tennis ball. But we had uncles who were professional footballers, 4 uncles. And when they came home to Ashington, they would always bring us a football. So we always had, and people would knock on the door to see if we were coming out to play football, because we always had a proper ball. And we'd go across the park and play in the Hurst Park. Or we would play in the street. And it was all day long at the weekend. Every night, as long as it was light enough. And most nights, the little street light would come on. I think it was a 15-watt bulb. It would come on and we would play until it got time to go to bed.
The passion for football came from their mother Sissy and her cousin Jackie Milburn, the North East's original football hero.
Football was talked about all the time in the house. My mother could speak quite confidently about football. We had a hard upbringing. My dad worked at the pit and he didn't make a lot of money. And we lived in a colliery house in a street. And Bob remembered that with pride. It was never anything but. He didn't speak in a derogatory manner about Ashington in any way, ever.
Bobby's talent took him to Manchester United as a 15-year-old, but never forgetting his roots while winning the League and European Cup.
Well, he had the gift. There is a certain it that when you talk about football to people who understand and know about football, you talk about it. It is there. It is part of a footballer's mentality, his psyche, his physical ability. He's got it in capital letters. Now, Bob had it from the word go as far back as I can go in my memory.
Dementia afflicted this family, attributed to the deaths of both Jack and Sir Bobby.
We used to meet at football matches and we would meet at various times, but Bob didn't end up doing that. Bob never got very far. And I remember the last time I spoke to him, we were on the telephone and he broke down and started crying. Well, I was crying. And his wife, after that, Norma, said it's probably best not to put Bob on the phone. So she kept us updated on how he was.
The family's grief has been shared with the football world, a very special family of World Cup winning brothers.
I was so proud of them, and I still am, that I choke up the fact that they're both dead, and they're very, very sad. Sorry. But wonderful, wonderful people.
There will be a public celebration of Sir Bobby's life a week on Monday, with a procession through Manchester and a service at Manchester Cathedral before a private family funeral. Rob Harris, Sky News.